Hi guys, I'm just going to check I'm not on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Just waiting on Facebook. Hi guys, it's your boy MJ back in another video. I thought I'd change my intro. As it's a new month as well, I guess, thinking about it. Well, I know it's a new month from yesterday, but just like YouTube seems to have made changes, and everyone seems to be making changes now, I guess. But I hope it's bright enough. Sorry, I decided not to put another light on, but I probably should have done. It has been quite a nice bright day here in Britain. It seems like the weather is for the better, hopefully. It could just be a one-off, but I'll wait till tomorrow to make that judgment or decision. But hopefully we'll get a few nice, bright blue sky days and that kind of thing. But it has gone a bit cloudy because it's taken me ages to get around to this. I was really tired. I didn't manage to get up properly. I woke up to feed the cat about 11:30, and I went back to sleep, and I didn't get up and the rest of me out of bed till about 2 o'clock. So not doing too well. And then I had to wait for something, sort something out for like God knows how many hours. So it's been a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, these are the rest of my plans for the month ahead, as I was talking about yesterday. I wish I had done a bit more writing and made more decisions, but I just got writer's block and all that kind of thing. I often get, even though I have all these ideas in my mind, I often get writer's block. But anyway, these are pointers number 31 to 40. And as ever, I'd love to know what you think. Hopefully it won't be too harsh. I hope people will like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd be so kind on YouTube, and support my content in any way you can. I really appreciate that. Share the video and that kind of thing if you'd be so kind. I know I'm wearing a Portugal cap, but I'm mainly focusing on Asia and Asian empowerment pretty much for this month, hopefully, and for May and June, all being well as well. Give or take. So that's the main thing I wish to focus on. So here goes. So on that note, number 31, I know it's at the moment it's a difficult situation in Asia with the ongoing war in Iran. I hope that will come to an end ASAP, really, in the most peaceful way possible, peaceful conclusion. Like, there's a part of me, and I guess I should be careful what I say, but part of me does think, I think there's good and bad on both sides. But I think if although I don't want anyone to be injured, I don't want anyone to be killed or injured or and to suffer too much. I wish for everyone to be happy, but I wish for happiness for all living things. That's one of my dreams. But at the same time, I guess and a part of me was thinking, like, if Iran does cause enough damage in Israel or Antrag with the military, then it can mean that people say enough is enough, and they'll stop the war more quickly. So it's short-term pain but long-term gain. It will shorten the war or the battle or whatever by whatever the saying is. I don't know what you think about that, but people out there, please let me know what you think. But I think humanity should be spending more money on medicine, healthcare, education, teaching, training, empowerment programs and things like that. Healthcare, food, drink, shelter, and that kind of thing. And less on wars and the military and that kind of thing. I talk about the right to resist. I actually just posted on my Facebook status about how I'd love to promote the right to resist. I didn't actually mention that this time, but I mentioned it before. But I posted, like, I don't give any consent to any military to force me to join the military. So I think that if enough people say, no, we refuse forced conscription, then any government would struggle to implement it. Well, they're certainly going to struggle to do it, and I suppose they can't build enough prison places, I guess. But again, I could be being naive. Actually, that's a side note to what I was actually going to mention for point number 31, which is talking about Asia. I would love to promote, celebrate, and salute and empower Asian products and projects. Maybe even encourage people to buy Asian. #buy Asian. Please would be nice. And yeah, celebrate Asian poets, artists, writers, architects, engineers, business people, businesses themselves, and all sorts of things like that. I'm stuck in two minds as whether to do like some videos either this month or maybe in May or June, where I talk about like 40 Asian entrepreneurs or 40 Asian businesses, specifically 40 owned Asian businesses like Reliance Industries, Tata, Alibaba, and companies like that. Toyota, and whatever other Asian companies to sort of celebrate and promote them and that kind of thing. But yeah, celebrating all about Asia, everything Asian. Number 32, also thinking about facts about Asia. And I love to support Asian YouTubers, TikTokers, and anything that can empower people across Asia, people to learn about Asia, what Asia can learn from the rest of the world and each other. And I forgot to say in point number 31, but that's probably best I moved on anyway. In fact, the thing about, because initially I was going to talk about celebrating everything to do with Asia and empowering people from Asia in point number 31, but then I started talking about the military stuff. I hope the war would end as soon as possible and that kind of thing. I suppose that does obviously affect Asia. It actually affects the rest of the world as well, but Iran being in Asia and the war being, unfortunately, in West Asia. I don't want there to be any wars, but yeah, I was at one point going to mention in point number 31 about how I love to create the Asian Alliance, which I've been talking about, as I talked about previously. So a group that would seek to promote Pan-Asianism, basically Asian unity, bringing Asia together, limiting or even hopefully ending conflicts, supporting Asian YouTubers, TikTokers, poets, artists, writers, entrepreneurs, and supporting Asians generally and empowering them and that kind of thing. So to promote Asian unity and Asians to be proud of each other, hopefully not in an arrogant or showy way or whatever, I suppose the same sort of thing, but in a positive but down to earth sort of way, a confident and positive but down to earth kind of way. I'd love to read your suggestions on that. Number 33, I'd also love to promote libertarianism across Asia and encourage my fellow. I mentioned before in the past that I don't know if I have autism and or ADHD. It'd be interesting if I did. I went through life without knowing. So I know I do have a lot of quirks, but sometimes I do wonder if that's just a Michael thing or just a me thing even, or if it could be an autistic thing, like how I love to collect paperworks, but I've never heard of anyone else who loves to collect so much paperworks, and even though I can't write properly with poor punctuation and handwriting, but I do wonder if that's an autistic thing or just, as I say, a me thing, shall we say, not even a Michael thing. But I did mention how I'd love to support and empower with autism and ADHD, and I guess under the umbrella of neurodiversity. But this month I hope to focus on autistic and ADHD people and encourage maybe as many of them as possible to become libertarians if I can, although that would be their choice. So to promote libertarianism across Asia, around Asia and across Asia, but also amongst as many people with autism and ADHD as possible. Again, I'm not going to say whether I have those conditions or not. It'd be cool if I get a chance to do a test for autism, an autism test live on my Facebook channel. That'd be one of my dreams, and also one for ADHD and maybe other conditions as well. Although, again, I want to focus on the A's because of my use of alliterations, but I did have special support to learn how to spell. So you can't tell I'm dyslexic unless I say it. And if I took a dyslexia test, I'm sure it would say I'm not dyslexic, but that's just because I have that extra support with the spelling. I do have a lot of dyslexic traits like innovation, creativity, and that kind of thing. Unfortunately, I'm not very good with my hands, but mentally I'm very creative, which could be a dyspraxia thing as well. But again, I'm hoping to focus on the A's more, like autism and ADHD, although I'm not saying, as I say, that I have those conditions, but I'd love to do the test for autism and ADHD this month and maybe for other things in other months. Number 34, I'd also love to do reaction videos, as many of them as possible, because I don't live alone. I'm a bit sad when I live alone, if I'm honest. I'll probably give way too much info away, but I'd probably have to try and discuss with my mum, like to keep that room, the TV room, because I'd need the TV to react to. I'd love to get my own creative rooms, which I hope to talk about ASAP. If not this month, maybe next month or ASAP, basically. I suppose August is my birth month, but I think of the 8th month of the year, creative 8, but maybe in May it would be pretty cool, but preferably ASAP. I want it done yesterday or yesteryear, so to speak. But yeah, I'd love to do reaction videos. I'd love to promote peace, discuss ways to tackle wars, and listen to and read other people's comments, and even collaborate with others. In March, I did want to talk to Italian football fans and Celtic fans about things to do with football, especially Town Football and Celtic, but even football more generally, or even collaborating with football fans more generally, even rival football fans sometimes, perhaps. I'd love to do that kind of thing in the future. I don't know whether I'll get around to it this month, but probably ASAP. Number 35, I'd love to get my ideas onto paper, including in diaries, including my plans for the future in my diary, my personal organiser. I saw in what we would call here in the UK a corner shop, which mostly are run, funny enough, by Asian families of Indian descent, generally speaking, in this country. I'm not sure if it's similar or the same in America or elsewhere, but I would love to. Sorry, I saw there was a notebook which said something about student something, or student quality notebook or something like that, and another one which was like it had 5 different dividers, and I sort of made a promise to the guy upstairs, to God and to my family and all that kind of thing, and even myself to an extent. Well, certainly not to myself, I wouldn't say, but to my family and especially to God, that I wouldn't buy any more notebooks without permission. So I want to keep what I'd love to be able to write when and wherever I have permission, and as many things as I have permission to write on and that kind of thing. But as I say, as I still live in my mum's house, but so therefore I didn't buy those notebooks, but I'd love to in the future. One of my dreams on my bucket list. I know it's a bit sad, but me being a bit sad, I'd love to get that. I'd love to get the one that says student, so I can write my ideas about student goods and services, a student goods and services company idea, and another on which I had a long time ago, and I'd love to implement it one day. But for like charity or as part of MKS Enterprises, but that's for another time. I have to work more on that in May and that kind of thing. May and June and beyond, but and especially in August. But yeah, I'd love to buy that if I could, and if I had permission, I'd love to get that 5 divider one, because then I could write about my 5 causes. So benefiting Italian football, Celtic, libertarianism, people from former colonies, former colonized countries, or colonized countries, whatever, and tackling poverty and alleviating suffering and spreading peace, love, joy, hope, and happiness. So each sort of subject divider would consist of each of those ideas or causes, ideals, and that kind of thing. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, if I had permission, like if I could get my own creative rooms. I'm going to move on for now. Point number 36. Speaking again of Asia, and also I guess people with ADHD, autism, or ADHD, both autism and ADHD. So people with autism, ADHD, and or both conditions, as well as Asians, and I guess others as well, others with related conditions and people around the world. I'd love to promote. Basically, I'd love to promote Italian football across such regions. So I'd love for Asians, ADHDers, autistics, and ADHDers, and others to follow and support and even sponsor and invest into Italian soccer and help it to rebuild. I won't go into too much detail in this video, but yeah, I'd love to promote Italian soccer around the world and encourage investors and sponsors to invest in and sponsor Italian soccer, especially across Asia and Africa, I guess, but especially Asia in particular, as it's the biggest continent as well. And hopefully, if I benefit Asia with my ideas, hopefully they'll return the favour and reward such by investing into, sponsoring, donating to, and investing in, and certainly sponsoring and investing in Italian soccer, and hopefully that can rebuild. But again, I'll talk more about that in the future. I shouldn't go into too much detail in like one video. Yeah, basically to promote Italian soccer around the world, especially in Asia, and for people for ADHDers or autistics, or ADHDers, and people with related conditions and whatnot. Although obviously we would need competition, so if everyone was an Italian fan, that would be boring. But yeah, so I love to promote Italian soccer in Asia. And number 7, same sort of thing for Celtic, and I guess what I talked about in part 1, like Asians to work together to make life easier. Yeah, the same sort of thing for Italian soccer or football or footy or whatever you want to call it, calcio or whatever. I'd love to do for Celtic and vice versa across Asia. For funny enough, this is green and white, just like Celtic, and one of Celtic's players is Portuguese as well, as it happens. But side note. Number 38, I hope, as I say, to promote positive things about Asia. Number 39, I hope to promote Asian projects, poets, artists, writers, and whatnot, and people with ADHD, autism, and related conditions. Those two conditions, autistics, ADHDers, and ADHDers. And number 40, I mainly wish to support Asia and Asian projects and projects that benefit Asia, but at the same time, I also wish to support African technology, which I wish I'd done more in March and maybe February if I had more energy and was more organised and that kind of thing. On that note, I am out, and peace and love.